Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Panama Pleasant Industrial Development Agency regular meeting, Thursday, April 17th at 5:04. In attendance this evening, we have Sharon Spina, Tom Farrell, Ted Bly, myself, Carl Fulgenzi, and Kevin Highland, our CEO, and of council, we have Adriana Marinello.
Excellent.
Now, we have our minutes of February 29th, but we're gonna table those and carry those over to our next meeting.
Yes, we don't have enough, enough of the people that were there are not in attendance to approve those minutes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Next item is to consider and adopt a resolution authorizing and adopting a uniform joint application for assistance with the Mount Pleasant Local Development Corporation.
Oh,
where
you've
was-
got
I think
the
you're on a different one.
prior minutes.
Here,
Yeah,
this
thanks.
is the one for the,
Did that last.
approval of it. This is on the right one.
Yeah,
Where
that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Just looking at the minutes instead of the agenda.
Because we were gonna approve September,
Oh, that was on
December,
the second
and this was
page.
Yeah,
Should have been,
that.
Okay. And
Yes.
so the approval of September 30th minutes, which we're gonna
right,
table.
we're not gonna be
And
able,
December, right?
so we'll, yeah,
Oh,
recommend
we
we,
do
We
December?
can rewind that, Lenny? Next one, consider resolution adopting the fiscal year 2024 audited financial statements.
if you agree, Mr. Chairman, I'll quickly go over the financial statements.
I agree.
Our auditors are not here, but they submitted our audits and financial statements and their invoice, which they always do very quickly afterwards. All right, the page that we're looking at under assets, we compared 2024 assets at the end of the year versus 2023. You can see that cash and cash equivalents at the end of 2024 was $5,918,000, and the last 2023 was only $5,388,000. Now, the accounts receivable is $200,000. That's from one account that had been paying on a installment basis, but we're having some discussions about wrapping this up. It's now down to they paid us $25,000, we're down to $175,000, but it's too slow of a process, and we just have one contractual disagreement, which I think will be resolved in the next week or so. And then non-current assets remains the same as last year, $689,000. The land for economic development remains the same at $529,000, and the total non-current assets are $1,219,751, which brings us to a total assets of $7,338,000. Under liabilities, Mr. Chairman, we have accounts payable due of $9,784. That's just simply what was there, and at the end of the year, December 31st, we owed somebody $9,784. Due to other governments, it was $2,308,000. Due to other governments are pilot payments
I was
to,
just gonna ask.
right,
Yep.
the county and
School?
some of the school districts, but I believe the town is not amongst them at this time. But those are the only payments due to other governments, and they've all been paid since this December 31st deadline for the financials. Okay. So we have total liabilities at $2,316,000. The net position is virtually the same as last year. The investment in capital assets is the same at $689,825. And the unrestricted is at $4,329,000. Total net position Assets minus liability is $5,019,749. We had on the next page, our operating revenues, we had a much slower year than previous years. We didn't have as many closings. We have several in the hopper for this calendar year of 2025. But last year we collected only 167,000. The last 2 years have been slow. And miscellaneous fees we get when Carl has to spend a couple of hours signing off on amendments to previous projects and extensions of sales tax exemptions. That's where we get the miscellaneous revenue. And already this year, we just had one for $1,750. Some years that ends up being up to about $50,000. So total operating revenues in 2024 were $170,250. As you can see, the rest of it goes down the list. I'm not going to go line by line with everyone. You can all see what they are. Their operating expenses, professional fees would be our attorney's fees plus our certified accountant's fees, and de minimis amounts for everything else, office supplies and such. We had a good year last year because the rates were up and we had interest income of $259,000. And once again, we come to the end of year $5,019,000. The rest is for the board to review. And so there's virtually very little change from last year. And of course, the board can ask any questions or someone can move for adoption of these financial statements.
Pretty straightforward. I move for approval. There's no question.
Motion by Don,
I second.
second by Sharon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Consider annual organizational resolution.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think I'm going to pass the torch here to Adriana.
Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Chairman, this is the resolution the agency passes each year at its annual meeting, adopting and readopting policies as needed, and electing officers, appointing members of committees. There are no changes this year. It is a readoption of the policies as they were last year.
So Adriana, the state did not mandate any changes that we had to make. That usually
None
is.
to policies. no.
Right, right. So that's usually where our policy changes come unless there's something specific to our agency itself. But generally, there's stuff that comes down from the state. But this year, we didn't have anything, which is unusual for the state of New York.
There may be things coming, but,
Yes, yes.
so this is, that's just about it. And this is in accordance with PAAA.
Could you please review the policy?
Sure.
Just give
Yes,
us
of
at least the titles and then we'll,
Yes, so the policies included are the compensation reimbursement and attendance policy, the code of ethics, the whistleblower policy,
okay.
the procurement policy, travel policy, defense and indemnification, real property acquisition, and disposition of property.
Right. And when it comes to things like our investment and deposit policy, in case anybody thinks we're investing in NVIDIA stock or something, no, we only invest in certificates of deposits and money market accounts with local banks. Thank you, Adriana.
Do we have to approve the committees or,
The policy,
Policies.
yeah, why don't we, how many policies
Can you
did we
do them all
mention?
together?
Yeah,
Separate.
no, we can,
all the policies?
we do all the policies together. We'll have Adriana read them off again quickly. They're,
Yes. Agency compensation.
right?
Agency code of ethics,
Yes?
whistleblower policy, investment policy, travel policy, procurement policy, defense and indemnification,
Right?
real property acquisition, and disposition of real property. That is 9 total.
Very good.
We approved that on its own, right? We
Yes.
do that one and then we move on.
Then we'll move on
The other
to
ones?
elections of officers. Let's
Okay.
see what's
So we
approved.
need a motion to ratify policies.
Motion to ratify policies.
Motion by Ted,
Motion by Ted
I
Bly.
second.
second by Sharon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is election, appointment of board officers, chair, vice chair, treasurer, secretary, council. And we are basically
Yeah.
reapproving the same
Well,
board.
except for, we're going to have, Carl is the ex officio chairman, and so his appointment will remain, and then we would have, Don Farrell would be up for our vice chairman. He's currently one, and, we asked him earlier, and he will accept the position again for this coming year. And then, Sharon Spina is the board treasurer, and she has graciously also accepted that position for the year 2025. And then finally, we'd like to elect Ted Lai as the board secretary for 2025, after a vote.
I need a motion to approve that.
I motion to
Approve
approve
that
all.
slate?
Board?
Yeah,
Slate?
that board. Slate.
Great.
I second.
Motion by Sharon. Was that
I
Don?
second.
Second by Don. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes.
Motion carries. Appointment of committees. Do we have committees?
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So it would be the governance committee
Right.
and the finance and audit committee.
Yes, and I think they gonna remain the same as last year. I know Don and is Sharon on the government committee also?
Was Jim
Kathy
on the
was on.
finance committee?
I was on the finance committee.
Oh, yeah, you're on the
Jim
I
finance.
was on the finance.
You were finance there?
So those we'd like to roll over to the same as we had last year.
I will amend the resolution and send it revised for signature with the additional information.
Yes, please. Those are the committees that are mandated by the states, and so it's finance, audit,
Governance.
and governance committee, right? Okay, do we have I'll ask the chairman if he can call for a vote on those
The
committee
committees?
chairs, committee members.
Need a motion?
I motion to approve.
Sharon?
I
Do you have a
second.
second?
I second.
Don? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Next item, considering new business projects and general matters. Do we have anything?
We were very close to having one, Mr. Chairman, but they couldn't fill out the application in time, so we had to put it off. We have several projects in the hopper, but until they receive the requisite board approvals from the town, starting with the town planning board and then up through the town board, and most of them, I'd rather not get into it because it's not relevant for our discussion. Okay?
Well said.
Thank you, thank
Not
you.
at this time.
If there be no further business, I could
Adjourn.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Ted,
I second.
Sharon. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.